something that should not last too long, or else the palliative will become a right. So where most people are thinking about, I don't think palliative is about basic salary increase. It is not about it. That is not a palliative. We have a situation in which fuel subsidy was removed and there are to be palliatives. We have a situation in which foreign exchange was changed. In that case, it is not a question of palliative. It's a question of solving the problem due to increased amount, coming not only to the federal government, but coming to the states and the local governments. That is where the salary increase should focus on, not on the palliatives. Palliatives should not be used in buying SUV. Because when you buy SUV for a legislator, you are even causing more problem than solving the problem. And it's not a palliative for him. If he will have to move with 200,000 within his constituency, that is not a palliative. I was in Germany for a workshop. In my hotel, I entered the Mercedes to go to the training something. I was passed by my guest lecturer on a bicycle. I hope you are getting it. We get to the lecture place. He delivered his lecture, and he said, I saw you entering the taxi in the bus stop. I was the one riding the bicycle. He said, but I've parked the bicycle. Your hotel is not too far. Why don't we walk? It should be a good exercise for you. And I said, I'm afraid because of the because of the darkness that the alley we have. He said, no, in Germany, don't worry about that. You are safe. And both of us walked to my hotel. And it was a good exercise. I had a good sleep. But I couldn't take wine. And I didn't need wine. So that's why we should look at the real solutions to our problem. The last time I came here with a what do you call it? V6. I know how much petrol costs. Today I came with a 4-liter car. That's solving the problem.
Yes.
And in our estate, you will see that people are parking cars and liking a ride. Those are ways of solving the problem. But question of palliatives now. What kind of things are palliatives? Who are those who need palliatives, and how can it be done?
No, I think let's take it from the one that you mentioned, the 70 billion naira. Yeah. That created a lot of furore. People saying that why should federal government allocate 70 billion naira to the National Assembly as palliatives? Is it the federal government, itself that's not causing the confusion? Because if 70 billion naira is palliative, the way you have explained it, palliative, you shouldn't go for SUV, bulletproof cars and all of that. No. Isn't the confusion coming from the federal government?
If I were in Tinubu's shoe, my interest is the $1 billion, nearly $800 million. When that $800 million comes, I have money to take to the central bank to solve my foreign exchange problem. That is Tinubu's main interest. Let's get that right. So he now says, okay, palliatives. We want to give people palliatives. They are giving before. They gave it to the poor. The legislators said, what of us? Okay, if we must give them, we must give the judiciary, we must give the legislator, then we must give the common man. But each of them will say what they want as palliative. They might mistakenly think what they have requested for are palliatives, whereas they are compounding their own problems. They are compounding their problems because those are not palliatives, because palliatives are something that will last max 6 months. Because you can't continue giving somebody Panadol without solving the real problem.
All right, so I would like to ask, let's take the palliative one after the other. Yeah. Initially, when the 500 billion naira was taken to the National Assembly, the initial information was that 8,000 naira will be given to 12 million households for the period of 6 months.
Yes.
Now, while some people say, how do you identify these 12 million households? Some are saying the 8,000 naira is not even palliative enough for some people. The argument is, now they have been taken to the state to compile the lists and the names of. Do you think this is palliative enough?
I think that's the right step in the right direction. This palliative has been done before. It was done by Buhari. They brought then it was 5,000 naira per month. I was the president of Chamber of Commerce in Ogun State. People did not come to register for the palliatives. People that we contacted from Imeko, from even Imala, from even Odega, were now ready to come to Abeokuta or go to Odega local government headquarters to register for the palliative. They said the cost is too much for what they are going to get. So, to us, it was like that. And we summoned, and people registered. But later they now said, okay, you made us register. When the palliatives are being, we didn't get anything. So there are two issues there. One, data. Do they get the right data? Is those who will need the 5,000 that will get it. But fortunately, in the Chamber of Commerce, we relate with one another. The Northerners were so happy for the 5,000 palliatives that when we were, talking to other members of Chamber of Commerce, they said, we don't have the real poverty something. Oh, will you tell me that 8,000 naira is not good enough for an almanjeri? This is somebody that is sitting in front of somebody's house, expecting food every day. You now give him 8,000 naira a month. It means he could even go and buy food. So, but the question is that if it is a palliative, it will stop. And what did they do? In the north, they collected the palliative and used it to do something for them. In a village of 100 people, they collect the 5,000, it becomes 500,000. And they did maybe well in that village. And that is them administering it. In the East, it was different. They have a different culture. They have their Oga business culture. So those boys under the masters, if you give them palliative for food, you have helped their Oga. 5,000, 8,000. The Oga is not paying them. He only sees that they eat. But how does it apply to us? How did we apply it? We even rejected it.
In the Southwest?
In the Southwest. In Ogun State in particular, I can be emphatic. People did not register for the number allocated to Ogun State. We didn't have so with that, I can now understand that they have to say, okay, let states go and handle it. What will be palliative in your state might not be palliative in my state. How I will handle it in my state will be different from how you will handle it in your state. Because the people that are unemployable or unemployed or underemployed in your state might not have the same status with those in my state. So they have to come down. Then this thing has to be data driven. Let the governors be aware that this time around, if people will take palliative and give it to their political friends, they will be beaten up in the streets because people are wild. Unlike when they took the COVID palliative and they were storing it somewhere, people are going to monitor this palliative. And in this age, everything is data driven. Nothing is hidden. No governor takes a loan and nobody knows. People will know. People are becoming more sensitive and they are going to ask. And they are going to ask the local government chairman. If the local government chairman does nothing, then we ask him. And before they know, they will be beaten on the streets because people are really hungry.
The suspicion among Nigerians is that, I mean, these palliatives will not really be administered properly at the state and local government levels. And they are also of the suspicion that we might not even get the right kind of body language from Mr. President. Because if the President, calls the governors to a meeting and tells them that, look, you need, because the job is in your hands. You need to do the job, properly. Otherwise, all of us, Nigerians will be angry at all of us. So, in that confusion, do you think that this is something that really see the light of the day? This issue of palliatives.
There's one thing I want us to understand clearly. It's not the issue of the president. It has been taken beyond the president. They have said they will give palliatives one way or the other. What each state will get what is due. So we start with our lawmakers. And which laws are they going to pass that is going to ensure that we receive our palliative? And which laws, if they did not pass the laws, we first attack the lawmakers and then make them withdraw the governor from office if he's not doing anything. We should start the consciousness now that this palliative is not going to go the way the other palliative have gone. We have been beaten once. To be beaten twice is to call us fools. And I don't think Ogun State citizens or Nigerians are fools. But we have seen that what we said is nothing. It's managed in some states to be something. There are some states in the north. We have this professor in the north that have started giving palliatives. If we can be called together, okay, at our level in Ogun State, we don't really need the kind of 8,000. Let's have clam going from OGTV here up to Abeokuta. Let's have another one going from this. We will wait. Some of them are planned. I also have planned routes for trams that will take people from center up to the industrial estates along Lagos Road. So we could wait because we are educated, we can be carried along. But let no one think that these palliatives will be like the one done before where politicians will just take it to their homes.
All right, the list that was done by the Buhari government was said to have failed the integrity test.
That's it.
Now, how are we sure that these ones that the state governors have been asked to compile will pass the so-called integrity test? And number two is that some people are suggesting going the way of CDAs, Community Development Associations, to really know the vulnerables in the society that really needs this palliative. What is your take on that?
Yes, in Ogun State, I think we must have a different approach, and the CDAs have been a successful model in government-private partnership, and they are being good in implementing social programs. The CDAs will be one, but when you are talking of increase in salary and co, what of the private sector? How are they going to have their increase in salary? So you must involve businessmen. And let's look at what they did in the East, where people are mentored to become independent. Let's look at what they did in the North, where people in the villages are put together and social and healthcare programs are used for them as palliatives and design a whole that is agreeable to us. So any committee that should be formed should involve maybe CDA. It should even involve the police, community relations people, because all these palliatives, first thing first, is security. Let it involve various stakeholders and let them come up with a model. But I'm telling you, the Nigeria of yesterday is different from the Nigeria of today.
So let's look at there are some realities around these issues. Yes. If palliatives are coming, and you are saying, although the federal government has suspended the 8,000 naira policy, our idea, you know, but the same palliatives are coming and they're yet to come, yet there is increase in the price of fuel. It's gone up to 580 per liter, 600 per liter. Then boom, again, a hike in school fees. You know, all of this coming, you know, before even the palliatives. Don't you think this is something that is too much for Nigerians to bear at this point in time?
When you are talking of boom, there's also a boom. There are two policies of government. One is the hike in fuel price,
Yes.
which I will tell you we can address as palliative. But when we want to cure the hike in fuel price, let's go to the garage and see what the hike is. Lagos Ibadan transport fare is cheaper than Lagos Abeokuta transport fare by Abeokuta Road. Why? The road is good. So that's one of the solutions. But that solution cannot come from palliative. The solution should come from increased revenue to federal government. We are talking of federal government is even afraid of releasing 1 trillion naira out of the revenue it has got this month. They said the money, that money is what we must monitor. It should be used to solving the problem. Because if you go to Kutonu, you see the road, you see a road for motorcycle, you see a road for bicycle. What's up from having that? Those are and a road for buses and street lights and things everywhere going in order. That's solving the problem. That's where that 1 trillion should go. Giving us trains, giving us trams within the city where we have the population. But all this cannot be applied all over Nigeria on the same parameter. That's why I say state governments have very critical role to play. They have very critical role, and we have reason that we must take as state governors and chairmen responsible for their action, and also the legislators. If they are not seen to our fare well, let's get them out of the place.
All right. One of the other things that have been discussed about palliative is a distribution of farm inputs and seeds to farmers, so as to help, you know, especially now that the rains are here and the planting season is here, though it's late in some part of the country. Is this, in your opinion, a way to go to?
Those are the real palliatives. Release of grains from grain reserve to bring back to lower the prices of food. That's a real palliative. Our prices of food skyrocket and come down seasonally. So we will still have excess to take back to the storage. Release of food or something. Then those things you are talking about, the fertilizer, those are the real palliative. If you give somebody fertilizer and he uses fertilizer on something, he gets, if he's planting corn in 3 months' time, he's getting results already. In planting potatoes and things like that, in less than 6 months, which you have given him palliative, he's getting something. In fact, those are where the palliatives should go. Those are the real palliatives that will be positive in that when people get it, they use it, they have increased income. And one thing is that all the elites should not be asking for palliative. They should be thinking of restructuring their life. Those who have 4 cars at home, that have V6, V8, BMW, this, they are not the people that should be looking for palliatives. Those who are having their private jets are not the people looking for palliatives. If they cannot afford 80,000 to travel within their local government, let them find something else. Let them park the cars, let them sell it, and they are already doing it.
But they are the ones that will be in charge of administration of these palliatives. You don't think that's where the dilemma comes in, you know?
They don't have to be. We all own this society. The society is not only for
the chairman of a local government is an elite.
Yeah.
A governor of a state, you know, and those his foot soldiers, those that are going to actually, you know, administer the palliatives, are also, they belong to the class of the elites.
Yes.
You know,
and
so,
the senior civil servants.
And the senior civil servants. So now, I mean, I think it's a time that we need to also call for honesty and sincerity of purpose.
That is it. That is the real thing. We have to be data-driven, to be honest with ourselves, so that we know what we are getting for what. I don't believe Nigeria is so diverse that we cannot operate on the same standards. Our state governments and local government. A lot of people went to school. We are talking about school fees. A lot of people went to school giving scholarship by their towns, by their villages. Scholarships are not only to be offered by federal government. What stops state government from offering scholarship? What stops towns and villages? All these town unions, all they do is come and do Ojude Oba. Why should they be offering people scholarship?
Okay, sorry, Shola, we will pause you here, yes, because we are also joined by Ademola Adewusi. Good morning, Mr. Adewusi.
Good morning. Good morning, OGTV.
Okay, great to have you. You must have been listening to Sir Ishola. Now, so what are the additions? What are the things that you want to add to all of those things, or probably you disagree with him on some of the points he's raised?
Okay. First is that wonderful discussion you had on the number one thing you have done is the fact that social protection is a must. And the elite class has to balance, the political class and the elite class have to balance the bitter pill of the economic malaria that Nigeria has. And we all agree that the removal of the subsidy is imperative, but the issue now is how do we cushion the effect of that and ensure that the poor don't resort to deviant behavior or don't resort to desperate means to be able to live. I like the fact that the president has said let the poor breathe. But that's the existential need of every human being to breathe. What about eat? What about send their children to school? What about being able to earn a honest livelihood? So the government has raised a lot of issues in terms of the direction of the palliatives. I disagree with it on the fact that state governments should handle should handle the palliatives, should handle the rollout of the palliatives, and there's a reason for that. Just like you said now, the governor, the local government chairman, and every other person who will be involved in handling the rollout of the palliatives in the state are part of the elite class. That's one. Second, they're also part of the political class. That tells me something. Everything they are going to do with the palliatives will be political. And we have seen that before. During COVID-19, a lot of the governors were given resources, even by the private sector, to be able to lessen the budget, reduce the budget of COVID on Nigeria. We all know what happened to that. The resources ended up in private homes and were hoarded to a point where somebody said she wanted to use the COVID palliatives to celebrate her birthday. Now that's one. If you look at the institutional capacity of the states, a lot of the states in Nigeria do not have adequate data on their own workers. It discovered 2,000 post workers. Even in states that have only the establishment of the state is 10,000 workers. Now, if you do not have the database of your workers, what gives me the impression that you have the database on the poor and the vulnerable in your state? I support social protection. I even support conditional cash transfer because conditional cash transfer has been used by several countries to take a lot of people out of poverty. Brazil is one of these, China is one of these, India is one of these. And I think it is one of the ways to go because there are a lot of people who are in the informal sector who don't earn money regularly because of what they do. But the point is, imagine giving 500 million naira to a governor now and saying to that governor, give this to the poor. I reckon that the list of the poor will emanate from the chairman of the political party. And when that happens, the poor will be left out of the vote, and members of the political party will walk home with more than half of that money. The government might not be able to do it because remember, this government still has to do the work of government and governance. And then you now give this governor the role of interventionist, the humanitarian interventionist. It's like, and you know, interventionist programs are usually nitty-gritty. You have to know who you are giving money to. You have to know why you are giving money to that person. Now, governors will not have access to the DPS to say that this person has only 5,000 naira in his account in the past 1 year. Government will not even be able to say this person does not have an account. And you now give governors the responsibility of identifying, documenting in a database, and then saying this is the need of this person. I find it particularly peculiar for the government, and I think it's going to be a political misadventure. So that's part of what I disagree with. But in all, I agree with a lot of things.
Okay, so now, but if your support is for conditional transfer of funds, you know, now who also compiles the accounts? Don't forget that there's always a nexus between the federal government and the state governments too, in terms of politics. APC is at the federal, you know. APC is in Ogun State, for instance. APC is in where?
Lagos State,
Lagos,
for example.
You know, in most states of the federation. So that suspicion of you know, settling, using these to actually settle, you know, their political cronies could also play up. You don't think so?
I know, but let me tell you something that has happened in Nigeria for the past, I think, about 8 years. A lot of civil society organizations, including one that I am in, and I'm working with, but I won't mention because obviously I'm on air and I have not paid for any advert. We have done a lot of work on poverty eradication and misery reduction. We have been joined by the World Bank in creating a database of people who fall below not only the what is it called, the national wage, the minimum wage, but also fall below $2 per day in terms of earning. It will surprise you to know that a lot of people in Nigeria exist on the database of CSOs, NGOs, who collect 3,000, 2,000 naira every month. And they send their numbers to those CSOs religiously. You know, on an anecdotal note, the phrase urgent 2K is in the lexicon of Nigeria because a lot of people in all our families call us and say they need 2K, they need 5K, they need 3K. Yeah. This may not mean a lot to those of us who are in the urban area, those of us who obviously have some means of, you know, profitable livelihood. But there are people in the communities, there are people in the villages who have registered with NGOs as poor. They are not ashamed of it because they have no choice. Now, that database exists. Now, let me tell you why I am going towards that route. There are people in Nigeria who still don't have telephones, you know, up till today. That's why the fact that teledensity in Nigeria is 97%. There are people in Nigeria up till today, at this morning, who do not have a bank account. The reason is because what they earn is too much to give to a bank to collect maintenance charge of 1,000 naira. So, all of those people have been categorized. All of those people that exist with the World Bank. And I work in development space, and I say to a lot of people, if you want data of Nigeria, don't ask any Nigerian agency. Ask the World Bank or ask anybody that does the real work of going to the granular area and asking questions. So it must be a hybrid between civil society organizations, the federal government, and the state government. The reason is because if we merge their databases, we will come up with a composite that represents the people who actually need this. And let me say this importantly. AMCON I spent a lot more money buying debt owed by the rich in Nigeria than the amount of money that the federal government is now trying to give to the poor. And the conditional cash transfer is only one out of several components that must be implemented to make sure that Nigerians don't feel the real pains of this. And I am also of the impression that the federal government must do several things. One is healthcare. You must tell us, out of this money I'm saving from this subsidy removal, I'm going to invest X amount into healthcare. The reason is because 96% of payment of healthcare in Nigeria is out of pocket. It's one of the reasons why people don't go to the hospital when they have issues. Then, I'm happy about the fact that the government is investing strictly in agriculture. They're giving seedlings, they're also giving grains, and they're saying the government must invest in farm to market infrastructure. I am very happy with that. So, agriculture, health, very critical for me. Then transportation. I am very critical about giving money to the workers in the formal sector, civil service now. And the reason is because immediately you do that, inflation will come up. And people in the informal sector will say, give us money too. Yeah. And that increment will be eaten up by the price of goods and services.
Meaning that you don't support increment in minimum wage.
I support increment in the minimum wage. But the way the National Economic Council has couched some things gives me jitters. He says cash award policy to civil servants. I am not in favor of cash award policy. I'm in favor of the labor union sitting down with the government and say, come, show us your books. What can you afford? We are not okay with that. A negotiated agreement, but also part of that negotiated agreement should not be only cash and minimum wage. That's what I'm saying. We must force the government to invest in places that will reduce spend. Because if we do only minimum wage, inflation will eat it up. But invest in health, invest in agriculture, invest in transportation. Those are the things that take away people's salaries. And then invest in education. If all of us could take away our children from private schools, we would be able to, and we need a lot more cash in hand for families to use for kids.
Okay, we'll come back to you guys.
I want to take you up on something that you said earlier on. Now, the fuel price has increased, no doubt. That's no more news. But what should the government be doing in terms of palliative, in your opinion, in most states, to ensure that people can move freely without high cost on their pockets?
Okay. One of the things that bothers me about Nigeria is that there is nothing new under the sun. These things have been done before. And even in other parts of the world, palliatives have been implemented. Let me give you an example. What would happen if the federal government said each state will get a credit to buy 200, 300 buses? And every citizen of that state needs just a card to go on those buses at subsidized rates. It subsidizes transportation, meaning you don't have to spend a lot of money. Then it removes vehicles from the roads, because 200 buses in any state of Nigeria, even Nigeria, that is our biggest, would dent the impact of the fuel subsidy. So transportation is critical. Now, what will happen? Agriculture will say we are going to get a special waiver for Ministry of Agriculture to tar 100 kilometers of roads leading to the places where you actually produce food. I've been to Zaki, where yam is. I was going to buy 25,000 naira worth of yam, and it was as tall as I am, and I'm 5'10". But when I asked how much it would cost me to take yam from Zaki to Makodi, it was going to cost me 40,000 naira. Wow. So the government is not doing anything about helping farmers to take food from where it is produced to the market. Now, what would happen in ministries of agriculture in the states that produce food? That's to invest in agri-based infrastructure. What would happen if we actually located people who need basic machinery and we're able to give this to them to produce more food? So I think we should be a bit more creative. Let me tell you a story. I was driving between Ondo and Akure, and I saw a woman on the road who was crying, and I parked. This was about 2011, 2012. And I said, Madam, why are you crying? She said it in Yoruba because it carries more weight in Yoruba than in English. And she said, I'm suffering. But in Yoruba, she said, and I said, why is this happening to you? And she said, I make gari, but the press, I hope you know that thing they used to press the gari bag so that the water strains down and then they can fry it. He said, there is only one in this village and it is occupied. And I have 50,000 naira worth of gari, but I cannot press it. So it continues to ferment. My children can't go to school because I can't pay their school fees, I can't eat. And I'm just here, I am suffering. And I said, how much will it take to make a press that will make your gari, she said, if I can get somebody to give me 5,000 naira, I will make a press and I will become an entrepreneur because people will come and press their gari with me. And I said, how much do they pay for that? She said, 200 naira. I said, okay. So I went into my car. I gave her 11,000 naira because she told me she needed to pay 3,000 naira for each of her toothpicks. I gave her 11,000 naira. 2 weeks later, I came back. Her press was under a tree and she was happy. When she saw me, she said, I'm now an entrepreneur. I now have a press and I can make my gari, and when I'm not making my gari, somebody else can use my press. So, the problem with interventionist programs is that we cannot be blanket. We must look at the states now like Benue, Kogi, like Nasarawa that produce food and say our intervention for these states will be based on this. Food production, agriculture, infrastructure to make you guys produce more food. We must look at states that are industrialized and urbanized and say that our intervention in these states will be based on what? Infrastructure that is urban, transportation for you to be able to go to work.
Okay, Mr. Dewusi, we'll come back to you to round off just shortly. Sir Ishola, I think these are very tough times for governments at all levels, and it also calls for creativity on the part of.
I want to project. How much does it cost to treat malaria?
Okay, we'll come back to you. Yeah, we'll come back to you shortly, Mr. Adewusi. Sorry. Yeah, I was asking. It calls for creativity, and it also calls for sincerity and honesty, in leadership, isn't it?
That's the truth. It calls for real data-driven approaches. I have the privilege of being in Ogun State, and just like he was saying, we are looking at how are farmers affected. The Chamber of Commerce has cocoa, planting units. The roads to the place are not accessible. In fact, the government itself did the study of where the soil is good for making cocoa, and yet that area is not having palliative road. Whereas cocoa is a major revenue earner, right from production, grading, and all the value chain. We have a cassava farm in Odeda. The government itself identified Odeda as where cassava will grow fine. They even built an uncompleted cassava processing mill there, the federal government. But the road to the place from Abeokuta, whereas when you hear it's Odeda, you will think it's where we can get to in 1 hour. It will take us 3 hours to get to the farm. In the farming area where you have identified as the place to produce cassava in Ogun State, no tractor, no bulldozer, To get a bulldozer to a farm, we have to pay 150,000. To get tractor, you have to buy so many liters of diesel. Actually, because of the price of diesel, so many of the large acreage farms are not farmed. Because of security, so many large acreage farms are not farmed. So security is an issue. The roads are issues. Because on security, I like to say, when we had Hadas attack on the chamber farm, we reported at the police station. The police station did not have vehicle to take. How can they find the
it's complex. Anyway, as we're closing, Mr. Davis, we just take your closing remarks. Now, do you sympathize with President Bola Tinubu? Do you think that there were a whole lot of booby traps laid for him, before he got to office? Look at the issue of increment in school tuition fees of federal institutions. Unity schools, that has gone from 45,000 naira to 100,000 naira. Unilag, they used to collect 19,000 naira. They now, students will now have to pay 190,000 naira. Do you envy him at this point in time?
Yes.
That's a very funny question. Funny enough is that just like the issue of palliative, I support ASU and everybody, every stakeholder in the educational sector coming together, because Nigeria has been subsidizing the labor market of everyone in the world. We have a market that we pay 36,000 naira to study medicine in Italy, and then you go to Canada and your colleagues owe $250,000 in debt. So we need to sit down and finance and think about the financing of our education sector. And I'll stop there. But in terms of beating Ashwadi Bola Ahmed Tinubu, no, I don't. And the reason why I don't beat him is his capacity. Now, he knew before he applied for the job, and I like the fact that on his maiden address, he said, don't pity me. I applied for this job, I campaigned for it, and I knew it was going to be hard. Before I came online, I was just trying to prepare myself. I listened to Alhaji Sanusi saying that whoever became Nigeria's president, I was going to face a Herculean task because of the things that are on ground. Nigeria has been borrowing money to pay salaries since 2014. You can quote Okojo-Iweala of that. I was listening to foremost economist Biswat Nwani, who was saying that unless we took some of the bitter pills that we are taking now, we will end up like Venezuela. A lot of oil, but no money to spend, a lot of debt. And what the government is trying to manage is the information that some of us know Nigeria is broke. The only thing I wish Ashwadi would do better now is to communicate and let everybody know that we are broke, and let the government officials also demonstrate that in the reduction in the cost of governance. So that Nigerians know that we are tightening our belt, but even our government and elected officials are also tightening their shirt collars. Not that we are tightening our belt and they are going fat.
We want to thank you so much. Ademola Adewusi. It's been great having you on the show, and it's always great having you. Your contributions have always been very, very, very spot on. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning. Okay, we'll be closing with Sir Ishola. That was Ademola Adewusi, a border and boundary expert. He called us virtually. Now, you don't think, the purchasing power of an average Nigerian has to go up now? Because he mentioned we need to face the realities of the moment. The president has to communicate. He has to talk, and that's where I have problem with government in Nigeria. They're not talking, and Nigerians want to listen to you. They want to be convinced that the actions, the steps you are taking are in their interest. And so when there's a lacuna between government, lacuna in communication, essentially, you don't think there'll be a problem, as a closing?
Yes. My closing is that people are saying, like I said, palliatives is not a solution. It's just a temporary relief The solution will come from proper use of our resources. Some of the money got from palliatives will be used, but mostly using our resources essentially. Someone who had a first class in economics did a research and found out that most of the projects that are existing in social infrastructure are the ones done by world banks. Most of the money that goes into government just fizzle out. We don't know what it is about. That's why we must follow up with our politicians and see that whatever they promise, they deliver. If they are, and most essentially, I will say that whatever money comes in should be retained inside Nigeria. Not that we should go and use it in buying things from outside Nigeria. If we want to build buses, let's build the buses in Nigeria. Any country that needs 10,000 buses is already enough for a production center. Anybody that wants to partner with us, let them come to Nigeria and build with us, create employment for our youths. Whatever we need, let us get it from Nigeria. Let's not just go and import. And if we have to do that, our people must understand that there is no immediate solution. Because that is in the best of our interests. If you bring buses from abroad, maintaining it and co, you might not be able to do. So, but if you build these buses in Nigeria, if they are forced, gradually we will improve it to Nigerian standard. If we have tractors assembled in Nigeria, if we are having faults, we gradually get it to Nigerian standard. And we have universities of technology and co that could do, and we don't need all these big tractors. All these small farm implements are things that we really needed. All these Chinese, we don't need 50 horsepower air-conditioned tractor going, clearing
The farms.
We don't really have farms that are bigger than some few hectares to 10 hectares. So these farms, for weeding, they need just all these small implements that are used in China, which we can grow to manufacture, which we have sufficient research from Agric Engineering Research Center in Ilorin. They have produced models. We are not just to encourage them to really produce it, mass production. We should encourage our local research stations and implement the solutions they have offered. A lot of
let's tease you, sir. Let's tease you before we go. Somebody said something yesterday that 100,000 naira, should be proposed as minimum wage for Nigerians. Is that too much, or do you think Nigerian workers deserve, they don't deserve that, or they deserve it? An average Nigerian worker at the minimum, at the lowest rung, 100,000 naira.
I don't see 100,000 naira as too much given our current.
But is it realistic in terms of? It comes from, because this is also another matter for federalism. The federal government would determine, the minimum wage and expect the state government to pay, whereas some state governments don't have the capacity to pay the money.
Yes, when I'm speaking, I speak in relation to Ogun State. Ogun State is the most industrialized state. We have high income generated from or something. If we plug the loopholes and get our rights, as being the most industrialized state, we should be able to pay 100,000 minimum wage. But what will come is, how will the private sector be able to match it?
I know you've always been expressing that concern because you're in the private sector. What happens to the private sector in that kind of situation?
So the productivity must increase. That's where the private sector must come in. Innovation, like you rightly said, must come in. In my office, we are going away from using we went away from using diesel generator to petrol generator. We are going from the petrol generator to gas, and the gas is now being installed. Because we looked at our books in the first half of this month, we are not really running well. And we see that if we can use compressed natural gas at estimates of 200 naira per liter or 100 naira per liter, we can double the pay of our staff salary. We can double our staff salary, and we'll be matching that 100,000.
Okay, so
So you're in support of
I'm support of increase, but let's there, for example, instead of my company running so much on generator using petrol or diesel, let's be able to have access to gas. There's nothing wrong in having gas pipeline running all our roads and gas getting to our homes.
yeah, we must thank you so much, sir. Jare Ishola, business development expert, computer education expert, consultant, for coming on this program this morning. It's great. It's always great having you, on this show. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we will take this break. When we come back, it will be another topic on the program, New Dawn on OGTV. Stay with us.
Thank you.